Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hanging out with a bunch of nerds today. And we're going to be doing things a little bit different. I know we've been doing these daily live chats where we have someone on and we just kind of rap and talk and whatever. But today we're actually going to be playing a game. We had Nelson on last week with the Saturday tabletop RPG or Saturday morning tabletop RPG. We're actually going to play a game. You know, we got Ted on, he with Nerdarchist Ted on here, staff writer Megan, staff writer Doug, and of course our illustrious Dungeon Master, GM, DM, whatever you want to call him, Nelson from Infinite Roleplay. In the description, you can find links to his channel as well as to his page on Drive Through RPG. Check his stuff out, and let's play some almost D&D.
All right. I don't know if you want to go through this, but to introduce your character so everyone watching knows a little bit more about who you're actually playing. Let's ring them off from, well, I'll start from my left to my right. Now, let's start from my right to my left. Let's not pick on the rookie just yet. Ted, would you mind introducing your character?
Absolutely. Hey everybody. I'm going to be playing Kitan, the Kyojin Barbarian. For those of you, who are familiar with D&D, he looks kind of like a Wemmick. Now, in Saturday morning tabletop, druid is an actual archetype of barbarian, so he's more of a lycanthrope shapeshifting type barbarian.
And the incredibly snowflakey character of Dave.
That's right. I'm playing Uther Ironbeard, and as some of you may or may not guess, he's actually a dwarf. Now, I would have played something different, but I wanted to revisit a character I've already played before and give him some more life. And he is a noble dwarven warrior that fights with massive weapons.
And then we'll slide over to Megan.
All right, I am playing Octavia. She is a construct, so made of metal. She was the governess to a gnomish family, but they've been gone for a long time, and she hasn't really fallen out of her habits of making sure people wash behind their ears. Oh, also, she's a knight.
Some kids are just more unruly than others.
Full-time babysitter, part-time knight. And finally, Doug.
I'm playing Mesmogdu. He is a frost goblin. He's an old fart, so he's been around a long time, and he is a performer that specializes in fortune telling. So he's really good at seeing the future, not so good swift on the past. But I picked him because I like the performances, and also he has a kind of misty step ability, which I just like that. So I went with that.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this game is going to be called The Rust Father. What's going on is that there's a very old and very eccentric gnome. His name is Simon G. Sprocket. He has spent the better part of his life within Mitzelberg. Mitzelberg being a very advanced gnome kingdom. Simon G. Sprocket has spent his life in that kingdom, singular of purpose, trying to invent a version of Caretaker, which is a construct much in the same way of Octavia, except one that is completely technological, without the use of magic, and without necessarily being alive. This resulted in many failures, many unintelligible constructs, smart enough to follow orders like, go here, pick that up, come here, leave me alone. Which he in turn funded his research with by hiring them out as cheap labor. But this old fart, this old little gnome, finally did it. He managed to create a construct that was intelligent, that could speak, and even so much as named itself as Nora. Feeling very proud of his ability, proud of his grand breakthrough of a completely 100% sentient construct, he decided, well, let's give her a test and send her, her and some of my other not so intelligible constructs on a journey to Sunshade, which is a place that they mine very magical minerals from the mountain, uh, located at the base of the mountain within a very nasty, nasty forest known as the Shadow Wood, which is enshrouded in darkness at all times. Our four intrepid adventurers were hired by the old Rust Father to get Nora back. She is one of the kind, and even though he created her, he doesn't quite know how he did it. So she's very important to him. So after a few days of traveling from the, very advanced metropolis of Mitzelberg, through the countryside, past a few rural towns, crossing the threshold of the Shadow Wood, your pack horses refusing to follow you in the Shadow Wood.
Who needs a pack horse?
Yes. Those of you without stubby legs are fine. But, yeah, your pack horses refuse to follow you in, and not but 20 yards within the Shadow Wood does the light of the sun completely fade. It is pitch black.
Well, I'll get out my rod of light and turn that on.
At first, I thought you said rat of light. I will just turn on my dark vision.
With your rod of light illuminating the area, it almost feels like the surrounding trees are trying to consume the light. But you manage to see your way and proceed further without much of an issue. The Shadowwood is a place known for having many vile creatures, of which completely defy common sense. And if not for, the Mitzelberg military trying to hold back these creatures from entering into the kingdom and wreaking havoc on its people, there are bandits and other undesirables that find their place in these woods.
I am definitely going to hide behind the other beefier people in my party.
Oh, immediately going into look out for the little one mode.
Well, little one as in the old frail frost goblin, or
Yes.
the short, broad dwarf? Literally
Oh no, the
little.
dwarf looks like he can take care of himself. Like, I'm definitely looking out for the goblin here, like sticking close so that if something tries to hit him, I can get in the way.
Well, those with two legs seem to get in my way more than not. So I make my way to the front of the line to be watchful.
I will turn to the knight. Ma'am, perhaps you should let me watch over the wee one. I have shield enough for both of us. I'm carrying this giant tower shield that is probably bigger than me.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I'm very small. You can both shield me. We can kind of do a tiered thing. If they get through the dwarf and the knight, then I'll be back there.
So you guys are traveling as best you can, trying to see the path most traveled, because they were leading an expedition to Sunshade. And some time passes before you start hearing, just at the very edges of your senses, music playing in the background.
Ms. Magdu starts tapping his foot.
What kind of music?
It sounds like
Is it singing? Is it instrumental?
it's a bit of everything. It sounds like a full-on sort of concert track.
Okay.
There's bass, guitars, xylophone. If you ever heard of the song, it sounds like Melanie Martinez's Mad Hatter.
Okay.
From Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the sound of the music playing.
Catchy tune.
If it kind of feels like it's going a slightly bit off of this beaten path.
What do you think that is?
Did we get any information of anyone actually living or residing within the wood?
There are a lot of creatures in the woods. There are, again, the Mitzelberg military that ventures in from time to time, sort of push the creatures back away, as far away from the border as possible. And there are, like I said, quite often many undesirables that make their home in these shadow woods.
So the music is probably not a good thing.
I don't know. It's kind of a catchy tune.
Perhaps it's trying to lure you in.
Perhaps we should not be hasty.
Well,
Could
did
be
you
they're
gather?
just misunderstood.
Did you
Proceed
gather?
with caution.
Did you gather any information that said anything but vile and evil things are inside?
Well, there is an automaton.
Hmm.
There are the people you're trying to track down, or at least the one automaton that you're trying to track down, who was with a bunch of people.
And I'll just point at a random tree. Look, that tree doesn't look all that evil. It's a tree.
And I'm like looking at the tree, like I'm trying to figure out how he's gauging that because I'm not 100% sure.
Well, the tree is blocking the light, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's not evil.
Light's overrated. Just use your dark vision. Like any good dwarf would.
Perhaps the dark vision blocks your sight, but you realize none of us are dwarves, right?
No one's perfect, my friend. I have many friends that are not dwarves. I don't hold it against them either. You all look fairly stout. Well, maybe not you, looking at the frost goblin. But I'm sure you have many other redeeming qualities.
I could try to, I could cast dancing lights and see if they're, away from us, and maybe whatever's causing the music, if they come to investigate, we could see them, but they would be far away from us. Going to give that a try?
Well, do we want to just head forward and see what it is?
You can start hearing the music grow a little louder, as if coming closer to you.
I'm going to hide as best I can.
You're gonna duck behind Uther's tower shield.
He's trying to hide, and I turn to him and we go, "You're a goblin. Do you know any frost goblins?"
I've known frost goblins in my time, sure.
Did I ever tell you about the time I met the king of the goblins?
No, I'd love to hear that tale. Maybe, lay it on me.
And
I'm always up for a good tale.
You're a governess. You would love him as well. He loved children. He was very good with them. Well,
Indeed.
he didn't really ask before he took them, but other than that, he seemed like a decent enough fellow. Yeah, there was this maze, this labyrinth. We had to wander through it. I had some other friends with me that when we were doing that, and there was a bunch of goblins, and they're really good at throwing snowballs, is what I remember, and disappearing. And at the center of the labyrinth was a tiny, tiny castle. Dwelling within the tiny castle was the king of goblins and all the children he kind of stolen.
That certainly sounds quite a bit like kidnapping to me.
Yeah.
Programmed to stop that from happening.
Well, it was okay. We got the children back and returned them where they belong.
So why do you feel that he's good if he's stealing children?
I didn't say he was good. I just said I met him.
No, you did. You said he was a good guy.
Well, he was a good guy. I said he was good with children. You misunderstand. He was very good with the children. They really liked him.
As you're talking about the Frost Goblin King, you can hear the sound of tapping xylophone getting even louder. Dun, 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 as the conversation sort of goes on, extolling the virtues of this kidnapping king. You start to make out some of the lyrics, and the one that keeps playing over that you most identify with or can most understand is "All the best people are crazy."
Yeah, by the time we got to the end of the adventure, we got all the kids back. We learned a lesson. It was great. Got to womp on some goblins and some ice monsters. And I
Hope there
really
wasn't
feel
anybody I
like
knew.
the king learned his lesson.
So do we see anything off in the distance actually that could be producing said music?
Did Mesmog do actually cast the dancing lights in the distance, or are we still just using the light rod?
Yeah, I'll do that. It's from my staff, so I'll pick up my crystal staff and kind of point it off, like maybe, I don't know, like 60 feet away from us in the woods. So maybe whatever's making this music will be drawn towards that.
All right, so you cast your. Yeah, go ahead.
Does the dancing lights actually make more light than the rod he's holding?
Yeah,
I
it makes 4 torch-sized lights or 1 giant light. So I'll do that. I'll kind of make them all into one big ball of bright light.
All right. So this large orb of light flies, pops into existence about 60 feet away. And at first, you don't really see anything, but almost instantly, in response, the music grows louder and louder, faster and faster, as if whatever's making this music for its point of origin is drawing rapidly near. And then the light starts swaying with the beat, and the one orb becomes almost humanoid in appearance and looks like it's dancing with the music, before finally you can see 2 figures come into the area of the light. And you're hearing giggling and laughing as they join hands and they start dancing, and they begin dancing with the light.
Well, they look like they're having fun.
Are you saying you want to join them?
Certainly this merriment cannot be evil.
Vigorously,
Yeah.
though. I wouldn't want you to break a hip or something.
I can still keep a beat.
It could be a distraction, and I'll begin looking around to see if there's anything else that might be out there.
Roll me a perception check.
No, it's a 10.
Yeah.
I lean in towards the knight. Very suspicious fellow, isn't he? I mean, so what? We're surrounded by this big, dark, creepy forest, but that doesn't mean everything's out to get us.
Certainly not. Although some things certainly are.
Well, we're not evil, and we're in the forest.
Good point. Excellent point. See, my kitty cat friend. Look, we're in the forest, and we're not evil.
You make a valid point.
So the dancing continues, and one of the figures sort of stops dancing and looks in your direction. Seeing the figure, now that it's not enthralled in all this rapid, rhythmic movement, you notice that the figure appears very well dressed, humanoid, stands pretty tall. But doesn't seem to have any face save for a mouth. But it's putting its hand above where eyes would be, looking in your direction.
I see that.
Do you think he sees us?
As you say that, he turns to the other figure and pulls on its dress. And the other figure looks female, much in the same way. Very well dressed, but has no face save for a mouth. And she puts her hand over where the eyes would be, looking your direction.
See, now if they weren't wearing clothes, they would be pulling on each other's fur. See how wrong that is?
Are creatures of this type, do I have any knowledge of creatures without faces?
You could roll. You could roll a check: history, arcana, religion, whatever you roll.
Arcana.
Let me know, and I'll flavor the information you gain depending on the skill you use.
I got a 16 for Arcana.
A 16 for arcana.
Yeah.
They're definitely arcane or fey in nature. You know, you've heard tales that a lot of fey are not necessarily evil or mischievous, but very misguided. And you can only assume that this forest has in some way done this to them.
Well, I'll tell my friends. I say, you know, they could just be misguided fae. Perhaps we can help guide them, or they can guide us. We could be mutually beneficial.
I will wave my arm in the air. I've not drawn my sword yet. Hey, over here! Greetings! Maybe you can give us some directions.
They stop, look at each other, and kind of buckle over, giggling. And you can clearly hear the giggles even from that 60-foot distance. And
Is it suspicious giggling
it sounds like childish giggling. Like
from adults?
yeah.
All right, I'm going to be on guard.
Then they turn and they actually fly straight at you guys, covering that 60-foot distance nearly in an instant.
Oh, look, they're coming to give us a hand.
And they fly towards you hand in hand.
Oh, they're a cute couple. Kids.
When they get to you and within your area of light of the light rod, it's really apparent that they don't have legs. Their legs, instead of legs, they seem to be a pair of tendrils, and they're just floating a handful of inches above the floor.
Oh, that's a little creepy. I try not to judge, though.
Neat trick.
I'm suspicious of people without legs.
Greetings.
They look at you and they start smiling and grinning really large, and as they grin, the music just gets louder.
Does the music seem to be emanating from them?
It seems to be centered on wherever they're at.
I thought they had no faces.
They have no faces save for a mouth.
Okay.
I'll take out my kazoo and try to match the beat of the music.
Seeing that you're starting to play an instrument, the two figures they begin looking at the other three, seeing how one of them is all feet, almost. The female extends her hand to Uther, and the male extends his hand to Octavia, and in unison they both say, "Let's dance."
All right. So these things, they're like about what size are they?
They're about medium size. They're about they're about as tall as a human, but they're standing a bit higher just because they're floating off the floor.
Well, he hasn't done anything to make Octavia feel suspicious of him yet, so she's going to take his hand and do the thing.
This can't end well.
She is probably not a very good dancer.
All right. So Octavia, you take his hand and he pulls you out and starts dancing. And as you're dancing, you're beginning to levitate off the floor with him. Uther, do you take the female's hand?
I do. I take her hand in my right hand, and I wrap my arm with the tower shield around her to begin dancing.
And you too, you start dancing, and as you dance, a few steps in the dance, you also begin to levitate. And
I feel really light on my feet.
Yes, you indeed do, both of you. While dancing, however, you guys, Uther and Octavia, feel like you leave the forest, as if you're on a giant stage, and there are thousands of people watching you in some sort of amphitheater. And you can see each other dancing with each other's partners. and you guys are just having a blast.
Oh, my favorite show, Dancing Among the Stars.
It brings a frosty tear to my eye.
So this you're gonna dance for a minute or two. While they're dancing, Mesmogdu or Keaton, what are you gentlemen doing?
Go ahead, Doug.
Oh, I'm just playing my kazoo, keeping the beat, and enjoying these youngsters having a frolicking time in the forest.
Do we see them dancing? They don't, like, it's only their perception that they're not in the forest anymore?
Yeah, it's only Uther's and Octavia's perception that they're not in the forest.
All right. I'm, as I had said, these guys don't have feet, and people are supposed to have 4. So I'm suspicious. I'm looking around to try and see, where the ball's gonna drop. Where where's things gonna go bad.
You want to roll another perception or perhaps an investigate?
I think perception is going to be a better option for me.
Okay.
19.
19. You start seeing on the road you're on, as well as some of the the moss and stuff that would grow without light. There seems to be like wagon trails going in the direction that these dancers came from.
Okay.
And in the distance, you actually catch, like, in the area of the dancing lights, which, by the way, is still humanoid looking and still dancing. You catch, like, the glimmer of something metallic.
And how far in the distance?
60 feet.
It's a Nerdarchy video playing.
No, that's the jam in Nerdarchy ringtone because someone didn't turn off the volume on their phone.
So are you going to do anything with that, Keeson?
I'm gonna wander in that direction, not just to try and see if I can get a better view of it. But I want to stay within 50 feet of my companions in case I need to race back.
All right. As you go off in the distance, leaving the area of the held light of Mesmogdu through the darkness towards Mesmogdu's dancing light, the glimmer is nothing more than like a piece of what looks to be armor, but it seems to be rusted around all its edges.
I think it's been here a while.
The center of that piece looks new.
Oh.
Just all the edges seem to be rusted away.
If I look at Uther Ironbeard's armor, does that seem to be affected in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Or Octavia, are these things, touching them, affecting the metal in any way?
These things touching them is not affecting anything except for the fact that they're dancing, having fun, and floating a few inches above the ground. Speaking of which, as you guys are dancing, as time goes by, the music grows lower as the song comes to its conclusion, and you're lowered onto the ground so that your feet can find purchase in the dirt. Uther and Octavia, take 1 point of insanity.
Oh, good.
From this dance.
Thank you, my lady. You're a most excellent dancer.
Twitch.
Divine.
Yeah, you say that, and she responds with a giggle. She's like,
Sanity's overrated anyway. And then I twitch and jerk a little.
yeah. So the two figures grab each other's hands. They get like really close. They turn to look at the majority of your group since one is off in the distance. She goes, that dance, they begin speaking alternatively. First the woman, then the man, then the woman. Every 3 or 4 words they switch. That dance was divine. It was so fun. You look like you need help.
We certainly need some direction.
So ask.
Have you seen, and I'm like gesturing to like kind of my carapace and such, another automaton like me, but not. Like head twitches a little bit, sort of off key with the rest of her body.
You say that and they kind of twirl around each other. The woman giggles again. She just nods, and then the man answers, but they didn't dance.
That is most unfortunate. They missed out on a most excellent dance. And then I twitch a little.
They ran from the music. It couldn't be helped.
But the music is so good.
It was a catchy beat. Do you know which way they ran?
The woman begins nodding her head, and she extends her hand gracefully in the distance, pointing at Keaton.
Thank you very much, milady.
See, this dance was most beneficial. And what is Ketone doing over there?
So, am I hearing this conversation? I imagine they're not like whispering, right?
No, they're just talking. You could probably hear it very lowly in the distance.
Well, I found out, I've actually been doing this wrong. I actually have advantage on perception checks, so I probably should hear them pretty well.
All right, yeah.
So, I'll actually, reach down and pick up the piece of armor and kind of bring it back to the group.
What have you got there, Keaton? Keaton.
I found a piece of rusted armor off along the trail. I'll hold it up to the knight. Does it look like armor, or does it look like construct body?
Well, does it?
It looks. It's kind of difficult to tell. It's a shell of some kind. It's fairly thick. It probably comes from a suit of plate.
It is very likely, or I would at least hope, a breastplate.
I'll hand it to Uther. You know all about this stuff, right?
Actually, I do. I happen to be a smith in my spare time. When I'm not talking the rocks.
Well, our forest friends here did indicate that Nora might have gone this way. Maybe this is a trail of breadcrumbs of the sense.
Excellent observation, my friend. Let us be off and see if we cannot find our friend that we are looking for.
And as you guys are talking, you can hear the slowly growing beat coming back, but this time it's a different song.
Oh dear.
Perhaps another dance.
Yes. The two figures both kind of get giddy and they wiggle their hands like in anticipation as the volume of the song increases. And it sounds like Megan Trainor's all about that bass.
Oh, good.
Did the wagon trails also go in that same direction?
Yes. Well, that's what Keaton would have saw.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, we do have to find this this construct, but this is my jam.
Well, I can play a tune for you if you like, Uther. I'll pull out a flute from my Better Gear bundle and start playing that.
So wait a second. You had a flute and you chose a kazoo?
I like the kazoo. I got all kinds of stuff back here.
Clearly, the goblin
I'll pull out a trumpet.
Talented.
Trumpet. Got a tuba back here somewhere.
But can you play them all at once?
I could give it a try. Can I roll a performance check to try and play several instruments at once with my feet and my hands and everything?
Several of those are woodwinds.
Yeah, you have to like stuff both of them in your mouth at the same time, or all three of them.
I do have a high performance.
Let's say with disadvantage.
All right, I can use my Bartleby's helping hand to play one of do something. So okay, I'll do it with disadvantage. I got the lowest 22.
Oh my god!
So he plays a. It may even sound like a cover of all that while this is going on. The figures themselves begin to dance, and they're dancing around you guys, or around Uther, Mesmog, and Octavia, since you're the ones in front of them.
Are they impressed with
They
Mesmog?
get it.
Because that's pretty impressive.
It indeed is. They dance around, and they go to grab Mesmog as he's playing the instruments, but they sort of pause before dancing to let him play.
So they're trying to grab him?
Yeah, they look like they're going to grab him for a dance or something.
Or something.
I'll let him. I'll frolic with the faceless fae.
Okay, so you frolic with the faceless fae. They pick you up, and they both are dancing with you, right? As you're playing with your instruments, and your instruments take over the song. You float a few feet above, a few inches above the ground, and you're beginning to dance with them. And you too your perception gets transported to another place. And in this other place, you feel like you're 20 years younger, like in the prime of your youth, as you're dancing away and like taking the lead amongst these two individuals in an amphitheater surrounded by hundreds of thousands of onlookers, all eyes on you. While he's dancing the night away, what do the three of you do?
Oh, look, he was right. He is quite the dancer. I thought he would be too old and possibly even bust a hip. But look at him go.
Shouldn't we be getting a move on?
As soon as he's finished.
Mesmog, roll me a wisdom save.
All right.
Since you're dancing with both of them, to give you a chance to avoid the compounding effects.
I'm going to use one of my fortunes to make that a 17 plus 19. I'm sorry, 18.
All right, so you only get one level of insanity.
Awesome.
As the music dies down, right, and they slowly let you back on the floor, and you realize that you're not a spring chicken anymore. All the years you're wearing on your face once again. And they clap. They both clap in celebration of you. And ask if you have any other questions that they can help you with, or if you want to stay and dance. That they can dance for eternity, and so can you.
I think we'd love to, but we really should. We should find our missing friend.
Perhaps we will pass back through here on the way back.
Agreed.
So you guys start heading off in that distance?
Indeed.
So as we begin walking, I'll point out the different things that I've seen. The wagon trail marks, and this is where I found the armor bit. All of its rusty sides, yet the middle looks new.
So as you guys walk off, you can hear in the distance music begin to come up again as they dance in the other direction. It sounds like Shannon's "Let the Music Play," going on in the distance.
Keaton, I cannot believe you said everything in this forest was evil. They were a
Wow.
very nice couple.
Yeah, except all of you are twitching now.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not twitching.
Perhaps I have a synaptic issue.
Oh, you're
I
right.
should
They
see
are
about getting
twitching.
that retuned.
So you follow the trail to where the wagon wheels you see are going.
Could have been worse. You guys could have lost your legs, like those guys did.
What are you talking about? I had a
It would
very
be
nice
unfortunate.
dance. And I'm very lucky and fortunate because I'm not twitching like them.
They don't have eyes. They don't have legs. I don't know. I don't trust them.
They're just a couple of crazy kids.
Seems fairly closed-minded for a guy with 4 legs and furry.
I suppose it would be difficult to have to find replacement parts.
Except for the eyes. They're good there.
You guys can start seeing a bush, and it's very out of place. Like, it's a regular, fully, like, lush green bush amongst these gigantic tall trees and moss and fungi. And it's like walking. It has a pair of feet with very fashionable shoes. It seems to like walk towards you and then stop, and then raise up and walk towards you and stop.
Are you guys seeing that?
Hello, strange meat creature.
It's a 10 on a knowledge nature check. What kind of bush is it? Evergreen, or is it?
Looks it looks well. This is a cold area, and it looks coniferous in nature.
All right.
It looks carnivorous in nature.
No, coniferous.
It's a conifer.
Yeah. It draws closer.
I've never seen a bush with shoes before, have I?
Probably not.
Can I pick it up?
Yeah.
So I walk over and try to look at its shoes. Try to figure out why a bush has shoes.
You pick up the bush, and as you do, 4 golden coins of inspiration drop down from it. And then the leaves crumble in together and just fall away into nothing.
Well,
I am giving you a very disapproving look.
I'm going to pick up one of those coins, and I suggest you guys do the same.
I will do that, but I also inform you that etiquette prohibits touching things without their permission. Scoff. Scold.
You notice that the on the face of the golden coins of inspiration, there's a big smiley face. The smiley face.
Is it the brownie?
You don't see the brownie, but the smiley face turns into a script, writing, and it says, "It's okay. It's for you."
So, like the leaves of the bush fall off.
Yeah, they fall off, and then there's nothing in your hands.
Oh, so there's nothing. It utterly disappeared.
Yeah, there's all that's left of the 4 golden coins of inspiration.
Well, that's just weird.
It's good fortune.
It is.
So I'll make sure I give a coin to everybody if they don't pick them up themselves.
So, can I do Bender and open my chest cavity and put it in there?
Sure.
Yes, that's what I do.
So you each now have a golden coin of inspiration. So going back to that trail, while walking on the trail, you start finding pieces of metal. Some seem to be just completely ripped off, like a piece of arm, full armor with the leather straps torn away.
All right. So is it an actual arm that we're finding, or just pieces of armor?
Armor. You haven't found any people
Construct parts. Okay.
or construct parts.
All right. That's what I'm looking for. The distinction, because we're not looking for armor. We're looking for constructs. That's what traveled in here.
But wasn't Nora part of an expedition, or was it just her?
It was just part of an expedition.
Yeah, so
But-
it might have been for traveling companions.
But wasn't the expedition all other just regular constructs?
Not they were the sort of labor force behind the expedition,
Okay,
but the
so
trade
there were-
expedition was led by other
Okay.
people.
So did we have any information in regards to the wagon that they had?
In what regards? What they were traveling with, the equipment and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
They were going to Sunshade to pick up items. They were traveling with gold to pick up raw metals and minerals from Sunshade.
But
yeah.
having this wagon trail that is marked in the dirt, that could potentially be what we're looking for, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
So yeah, as you guys travel on, you're finding sort of remnant bits of items. It's a bit chaotic in the middle. The wagon goes around like circles, comes back, goes over itself, and it seems like you're walking for ever. You completely lose track of time. You may have to stop to rest once in a while, especially Mesmogdu, given his advanced years. I don't know if he has bunions or not, but that may play a factor.
My bunions have bunions.
But yeah. So as time goes by, it's for the longest time, it's deadly quiet. There's no insects. There's no birds. Especially considering shortly after you entered this forest, the Shadowwood, you dealt with music and dancing. This is a stark difference before you starting to hear what sounds like chewing, crunching and chewing.
Well, it was pretty peaceful a few minutes ago.
So can I get any information on how many things might be chewing, what might be being chewed?
How would you like to go about doing that?
I'm gonna listen and see.
Just listening.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's quiet for everything but that.
I'm just going to head in that direction.
Does it sound like they're chewing with their mouth open?
yes,
I am heading in that direction as well. This will
definitely
not
sounds
stand.
like they're chewing. It sounds like a lot. If you wanted to get a number, choose
Well,
a skill you want to use, and
More than one was all I was looking.
yeah, definitely more than one.
I'll follow behind them all.
How wide is the path that we've been walking on?
I mean, it's pretty big. You were off the beaten path, so there's not an actual path. You're stepping all over mushrooms and bits of moss as you're walking through. But the trees in the Shadowwood aren't very close together. They're just massive.
Okay. So
And
there's
they-
plenty of space for us to maneuver here if needed.
Yes, plenty of space. Like the trees must be 20 to 30 feet apart.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
It's just that it's pitch black. The only light source being the light rod, and whenever he chooses to, the dancing lights. So
And I'll cover up the light red kind of as I walk and just kind of just take a peek so it's not like pointing out my position to everything.
okay. So you guys are moving towards this chilling sound, and it's starting to get a little louder and louder. How far does your light rod go again? Is it is it dim light out to 40 feet?
That sounds about right.
All right. So you wait. What's this? Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry.
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but all that chewing's kind of making me hungry.
You when
there's
you're
mushrooms here.
you're flashing the light, you're starting to you notice a couple of bulbous sort of figures, and there's a glittering aura around them. But you just see like the back of the figures. They look like spheres. And as the light shines on them, it dances off of a lot of glittering bits on their backs.
I will describe. I mean, do they see that, or is it just what I notice?
No, everybody can notice that. Once
Oh, okay.
You take your hand off the light,
Oh, okay.
light rod.
Do you guys see that?
I'll be a bearded gnome. Are those spheres of light chewing?
They appear to be.
That's
It
odd.
might, it might not be wise to disturb something while it's eating. I used to have a dog, and boy, if you even came near him when he was eating his food, he would get pretty upset.
And they're not wearing a bib or using utensils or anything. My Mima would be outraged.
I am outraged. This is incredibly improper. Close your mouth when you chew.
You say that, and one of the things sort of floats up. It's just like it's spherical in shape, and it starts to turn towards you. Or I'm guessing it looks like stop motion if you're still doing this. So it's like back view, back 3/4, halfway profile, looking in the front, and its mouth gapes open as it grins, and you basically see that thing.
Hey, it's got eyes.
Eat
And
yes.
Ooh,
It looks at
that
you.
does not look friendly.
It's got all the gook and stuff coming out of its mouth. It looks like it has like pieces of torn clothing hanging from its teeth.
So let me guess, you think that's friendly too?
No, it's got torn clothing from its teeth. Don't be ridiculous.
Octavia is far more concerned with the fact that it's chewing with its mouth open. Now, you want to be a gentleman, don't you?
Hey, are you assuming it's gender?
Wait, how do I
It's
turn
very
this
hard
off
to tell
again?
with meat creatures.
There you go.
Yeah. You guys are talking to it, and it turns around and starts just to the others.
Is it talking with food in its mouth?
Yes.
Twitching intensifies.
It's talking with food in its mouth. It's like there's saliva and stuff spraying out. And given that, like, these things are about the size of Uther's torso, so it's a really big mouth and really big globs of saliva that even at this distance, you can see it catching the light as it sprays out. And going,
This is unacceptable.
I've seen orcs with more manners. Are you kidding me? And who are you eating as well? We should probably check and make sure it's not eating someone we're looking for.
And then it like floats up, and another one floats up.
How many now? 3 or?
3 that you can see. They're just
lovely.
at the edge of the light rod's light.
All right. Can I begin shifting?
Sure.
All right. So my snout elongates, scales begin to cover my body, and I go Wemmick were crocodile.
Now I definitely feel like you're being very judgmental on others, considering.
Didn't you just say that they're bad because they're eating people?
Oh no, that's them. I'm talking about you right now. You're all about appearances and how people look and stuff. And look at you, scales and growing and changing.
Hey, not all of us wear armor.
Including me, and I'm going to hide behind Uther.
So I draw my sword out of its scabbard, and it just keeps going and going and going and going, and it literally should have been like dragging on the ground, making furrows, lifting me off the ground. That it's so big. All right, it's time to give you guys a whooping.
Is Octavia doing anything at this point?
Yeah, like, I have the hand hammer weapon, can she like flavor that as like her hand spinning and turning into the hammer?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, that happens.
And I'm gonna say this reminds me of a story. I'm gonna start telling this. A storied blade tells its tale while they're getting ready for battle.
All right. So these things start flying at you. The first one, the second one, they're about 40 feet away, in that dimly lit area. And as they fly into the light, you see sparkles all around them, sparkles away from them as well. You seem to have some sort of aura of, fabulous. And it's the first one, the second one, the third one, and then a fourth coming from the darkness, and then a fifth, and then a sixth, and then a seventh. It seems to be nearly a dozen of these things flying towards you. And they all start attacking. Right? So, oh, golly. Who has a magic weapon?
I do.
It was Mesmogdu and Keaton, right?
Yep.
So they're gonna attack Keaton first. Wait, what's your AC again, Keaton? It's
17 now.
17 now that you're in your wear form.
Yep.
All right. See, this messes with me because I only have 2 screens. So with your AC 17, 1, 2, 3, you get hit 3 times as their mouths stretch wide open, and these long tendril-like tongues fire out. You get slapped around with some very sticky, icky, and nasty saliva.
Okay.
That looks like it has glitter in it.
Lovely.
Now that's just disgusting.
Licking people is inappropriate.
So you get hit with 3 things, and seeing as how these things have the borrower trait, they're going to snatch your stone fist.
Ah.
Your
That's not a strength check to try and hold on to that.
they just steal it.
Oh my.
It gets caught up in their saliva, and then, like, as you're grabbing it, the saliva seems to infiltrate your hands and grip and fur, and almost as it's dagnabbit. My phone is off and my alarm still goes off. So yeah, their saliva seems nearly alive.
All right.
Right?
Do they take both of them or just the one?
Oh, they're taking 3 things from you. Those are the first 2 things that they take. Because that they can definitely sense it. What else do you have? Keaton?
I have some, a good gear bag, a belt pouch, a stone fist, and
they take your belt pouch. So they take your Anastalita, your stone fist, and your belt pouch.
Well, that's not very fair of them.
One of them each has the stone fist in its mouth, the Anastalita in the other mouth, and the other one, the belt pouch, just disappeared within his mouth. Like, he's not even holding it. Mouth is so big, it's gone.
Well, that kind of sucks.
I think these guys are part hamster.
You don't take any damage. And then the next, set all attack Mesmogdu in the same fashion, firing off their tongue from 30 feet away.
He gets to add my shield bonus to his AC if it matters.
Yeah, so that'd be 12. You'd have an AC of 12.
I tried.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, they all hit. So you get 5 things stolen. So the first is the Marahone, your crystal staff. They're not going to take Bartleby's helping hand because it's a glove. So your flute, your kazoo,
The tuba?
your tuba, and that's all 5. So you get all your instruments and your crystal staff stolen away. And they're all like the kazoo and the flute are gone. They're in the mouths somewhere, and now you're covered in this weird glittery saliva.
So there's an upshot.
Hey, I believe there's rules about sharing of bodily fluids publicly.
There certainly are.
These guys are out of control.
So it's your guys go. If you want to roll initiative to see where you want to go or take turns, entirely up to you. That's cool.
Uther is going to charge after them. You said they're 30 feet away?
Yeah.
Perfect. That'll put
Right.
me right within striking distance.
Anything like stick-wise or whatever on the ground?
Yeah, you'll find like branches and fallen debris from the tall trees.
I have a bunch of weapons
Rocks.
sticking out my back. If you
that's
want to grab something. Although most of them are really big.
No, I just need an offhand weapon.
Mm.
I mean, you're aware Wemmick Gator thing.
Yeah.
So I know you have a bite attack that you can use.
Yes, but I need because I have the 2-weapon fighting.
You could use unarmed strikes as an offhand attack.
Okay.
So does a 15 hit one of them?
Wait, you just attacked them? They didn't even. I mean,
Oh yeah, I ran up and whacked them with my sword. Climbing people and sticking your tongue all over people is totally inappropriate.
Yeah, you hit them. Which one do you hit?
I'm gonna hit the one that took the frosty stuff.
Frosty stuff. Yeah, the only one that you can see anything that was stolen was the one with the tuba and one with the crystal staff.
Okay.
So whichever one of those you attack, it literally pops. It explodes into glitter and doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
And
What happens to the
whatever
staff?
it just falls to the ground.
Okay.
Oh, so my second attack is a 22, so I smack one of the other ones.
He too just pops. You can tell that these things are, being as skilled heroes as you are, you can tell that to you they're mere minions.
Oh, so can we use the minion rule where we just destroy X amount of minions around or something like that?
Yeah.
So how many minions are we allowed to vanquish?
It's your awesome power multiplied by your heroic tier.
Oh, so okay, so I can get a third one?
Yeah.
So, in that case, what actually happens is I charge up to them, and and once I get to within range, I leap into the air, basically doing a pirouette. Is that what that's called?
Pirouette.
Pirouette with my massive sword extended, and it just looks like I helicopter through like 3 of them, and then I do the super hair landing.
So there's 9 left.
There's 7.
Oh, I thought you said there was a dozen of them.
I said nearly a dozen. It was 10.
Okay. Well, I can actually get 4 attacks. So I'm just going to go up and attack 4 of them.
Okay.
So I'm going to bite 2 of them. It's a natural 20 on the first one. Not that it makes a difference.
Oh, I wouldn't put that in your mouth if I was you.
Well, they've already slobbered all over me, so not a big deal.
Yeah.
That's an 11 on my second attack.
Well, that's true. I guess you guys are intimately acquainted now. In some countries, you'd be married.
The 11 is actually a miss.
Oh, okay. Well, so then I'm going to guess the 10 is a miss then as well. Well, I popped 2 of them.
So you pop 2 of them. And you know that you're in a rage now, right?
Yeah.
Because you were attacked by 5. So that leaves Octavia and Mesmok do. There's 5 that you can see still left.
I am going to recite a tale of triumph, tragedy, and love that resonates deeply in the minds and hearts of these things, and hopefully will pop their minds and hearts. And that is a performance check. Which I get. Yeah, I'm going to use my other fortune, so it's 20. And that does a number of creatures equal to my charisma bonus, which is 2. And they take 3d4 psychic damage.
If they take a single damage from you, they go away. They be
All right. Well, then that's 3 of them. Pop, pop, pop.
pop, pop, pop. You just there's gear, stolen gear, flutes, kazoos, everything is just falling out of their mouths as they're being destroyed.
It's a powerful tale.
It is. That leaves 2 for Octavia. 2 of these nasty, just like rolling
Okay.
these
So,
long tendril-like tongues all over the place. It's horrifying.
how do minion rules work?
The defeat minions action is
Mhm.
you use your action to perform defeat minions. You defeat a number of minions equal to your multiplied by your heroic tier. So for Octavia, having an awesome power of 3, that's 9 minions.
Wow!
There are only 2 minions left, so
You could have nearly wiped out this minion group.
Yourself.
Yeah.
I'm just.
I did
That's
not
just
realize that.
awesome power.
And you just
That is
you could
totally
just,
awesome.
You could just narrate how you do it.
All right. Yeah. So her hand spins and turns into the hammer, and she sort of charges forward and just like slams into one of them, knocking it into the other, and hopefully into a wall or something. She's very angry.
Oh, I so would have thought that you would have just delivered a lecture, and they were so embarrassed by their behavior that they just popped.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. You chastise them until
Oh,
they
that would have been
explode.
good, but I didn't think of that.
So you hit one into the other, and like those little metal ball things you see on office desks, the second one flies into a tree. The second one pops, and the first one you hit gets so scared it turns to run, hits another tree, and it pops. And there's nothing other than your assorted gear covered in yuckiness on the floor before you.
And glitter.
Now I'm going to have to take a bath.
Does that mean you start
Don't forget
licking
to wash
yourself?
behind your ears.
So,
I recover my fallen stuff.
Same.
Well, that was rather disgusting.
So as you guys pick up your gear, from it being gnawed on, might have some some teeth marks and whatnot on it. The flutes, don't know if you want to pick up your woodwinds after that, since they're inundated with this slimy, glittery saliva.
I've seen worse. in my old age.
Those college parties, man. Those college parties. So proceeding along the same vector that you were going, you discover what these things were eating, and you see decorated throughout the floor, strewn, a bunch of people.
They were eating people.
There's no bits of people left. What you notice is, torn open clothes with no one left in them. And in other areas, some people sort of like convulsing, just, moving erratically without speaking or crying out.
Is there a way to check and see if they're still alive or are they gone?
Checking on them, they are still alive, but they look like they've been driven to the brinks of madness.
Well, it typically happens when you're forced to watch other things eat your friends.
Like you do.
As you check on one of them, it as you check on one of these people that are just sort of far gone mentally, they grab you, and they'll try to pull themselves up. Once standing up, they'll actually grab onto you as if preparing to do a waltz. A waltz.
A waltz? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do any dancing.
Yeah, they're too weak to force you to do anything, but they try to dance and they spin around. They lift your paw up, spin around once, and then collapse and go back into the.
After that couple, these guys are terrible dancers.
Yeah,
I believe they may be injured.
You think?
Shall I see to their wounds?
Yeah, if you can, that'd be great.
I'm going to go check them out. I have potions on my person. I have lay on hands. I can do stuff.
I pull out my really massive hammer and say, "Let me know if you need any anesthesia." And I'm put it back.
Terrible. So going amongst the people, you can tell that those that have survived, right?
Mhm.
Their injuries are predominantly of a mental in nature. That they've been driven to the brinks of madness, and this madness has paralyzed them. But also, examining them this closely, you're noticing bits of, flakes of an orangey powder just ingrained in some of their clothing. There's bits of metal strewn about them as well. Some held on by a single leather lashing.
These humans appear to be experiencing a programming error.
Error? What do you mean? So I go over and start examining them.
You see the same thing. They have sort of pressed into a lot of their clothes this orangey powder. They've got bits of armor that look like they were broken off, torn off.
Does the orangey powder look like rust?
It could definitely be rust.
You sure it's not Tang? I'll taste it. You know what? If there's anything Uther Ironbeard knows about, that is metal and metalworking. So, and taste it.
I could have sworn you were going to say metal and Tang. But yeah, you taste it. It's definitely metal. It is definitely rust.
Ugh, this is horrible, horrible, horrible. There's nothing worse than rusty metal. It's like an insult to the gods themselves. And so they're wearing it, or is it actually like, I'm going to inspect a little deeper and see if it actually goes into them or if it's just on them?
The rust is on their clothing. It's not on any part of them that is covered by clothing.
What about the metal pieces? That's what I'm actually looking at. The ones that aren't rusted.
The ones that aren't rusted, they look like remnants of armor that have suffered quite a bit of damage.
I jump up, jump back. I stand up abruptly, jump back, and have this utter look of fear upon my face. And I'm like, oh my God, something is rusting everything. I don't know if I can stay here. I'm looking at like all of my metal and like there's more metal than dwarf, and I'm terrified.
Yeah, imagine how I feel.
Is my hammer and sword okay? I look at it, inspect it.
Yeah, you're inspecting the gear you have on you right now. It looks, other than the glittery saliva-y nastiness, it looks fine.
Does it look like the glittery stuff is having any kind of effect on the weapon? Can I grab some leaves and wipe this stuff off?
No effect that you can see.
I'm leaving the cave.
The shoulders and You were right. This forest is completely evil. We must probably leave immediately.
May
We have
I
a mission
extend the
before.
use of my gear bundle to like get some cleaning utensils out and like rub myself down, like just to be safe?
An
Yeah,
SOS
most
pad.
Definitely. Definitely.
Like, open my chest carapace and pull out some Windex.
You get some Windex. You pull out a box of SOS. Underneath it says "so obviously screwed." You start cleaning yourself and going through your gear, and then you hear like a voice coming from above head.
Look up.
You see a rather large gentleman. He's a Tau Samat, which is this ogre-sized walrus man hiding up a tree.
And somehow we did not see this. Nice.
Salutations, sir. How, pray tell, did you get up there?
He's like, they look gone. Then he starts sliding down the tree bark, sort of peeling away at his mass, thudding on the floor. He stops, looks at you. You obviously look like heroes. You've been sent to save us, yes?
Were you?
I stand as tall as I can and puff out my chest.
He notices you and goes, "Oh, yes."
Well, we're actually looking for a chap named Nolan. Was that his name?
Nora.
Nora. Chap, the
A lady.
construct.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
No. They're you need to save us. The living. Those
Nora.
are constructs. Those are. And
Nora.
he looks at. Yeah, go ahead.
Nora is alive.
I have got this like super not amused look on my face right now.
He throws up his large hands like, no. She's not a caretaker. She's nothing like you. She's not alive.
Is she aware of herself?
That's besides the point. Look,
Is she aware of herself?
he kind of scratches his neck and like creaks and crockles under his nails of his thick skin.
The gnome certainly thinks she's alive, and that's why we are here.
She's not aware enough, otherwise we wouldn't have been in this mess.
Were you part of her expedition?
This was actually my expedition. I was going to Sunshade to acquire minerals and metals, but the guard that we had was obviously not enough.
Did you do your research before you came in here as to how ready you should be to face its dangers?
Research for nothing makes sense in the Shadow Wood. They've got dancing creatures that drive my men insane, floating eyeballs that... Ugh.
Well, the floating eyeballs pop pretty easily. And did you try not dancing with them? I mean, come on now, they don't have legs.
Twitch.
That's why I climbed up the tree.
Why would you not dance with them? They were divine dancers.
But they don't have eyes, they don't have feet. Come on, how many more things do you need to have to not trust them?
He looks at the dwarf. He goes, "And this coming from that guy? Do you?" Then he turns around to you and throws his hands back up. "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it the way it sounded."
So I'll give him a big toothy grin, considering my protracted crocodilian cat-like visage.
He kind of takes a couple steps back towards Octavia for protection before he notices that he's standing next to the caretaker, and then he steps a little bit further back to Mesmogdu.
Sorry.
None of this actually matters anyway, my friend, because Uther Ironbeard has taken an oath to bring back this Nora. So I'm afraid I cannot address your plight right now.
We will save you all.
Yes. I am.
I turn and look at and look at the caretaker, and we can do that.
Yes. Or
Okay.
die trying.
Whoa, easy. Dying.
Our fortunes lie ahead in locating Nora.
Yes, come with us, Walrus Man. You'll be safe enough.
So has he introduced himself yet?
He is not. He's been a little. He's obviously shooken up. He's giant. Like he's easily two and a half times as tall as anybody, and nearly as much. Definitely twice as wide as Uther, which is saying something.
So I'll sheathe my sword and I'll stick out my paw and say, I am Khitan of the plains.
Hello, and he tentatively sticks his hand out, like he's nervous to shake yours. He's like, one bin.
One bin?
Yes, one bin. I'm a trader from Mittelberg.
You're a traitor.
A trader, like my father before me.
As in one who trades, not one who is not loyal to his men?
He kind of starts like trying to pull his hand back. Like,
No, I didn't let it go.
a trader with and he grabs it. His awesome power is higher than yours, so he does manage to snatch it free, but he grabs his wrist with his other hand and pulls it free. And when he does, he continues to hold it there like this. He's like, with a D, not a T. Trader, not traitor. I'm an upstanding young citizen of. Why are we talking? Let's get out of here.
Shall we address the men in the cave?
Men in the what cave?
Or were we not in the cave?
Clearing.
Oh, no. You were.
Oh.
It's a clearing.
Shall we address the men with the programming error?
Programming errors. No, you mean the madness?
They live, but they seem.
They lost
altered.
their marbles.
Yes, they indeed have lost their marbles.
I'm a little more concerned about all this rust.
It's that dancing. Oh.
The dancing caused the rust?
No, the insanity.
Well, what caused the
Aren't
rust?
you paying up? Oh, it's you. No, yes. Caused the crazies.
So what caused the rust?
I didn't get a good look at what it was. Some form of creature. I could hear its growls and snarls in the darkness.
Yes. I'll give him another grin. Growls and snarls are something you should be wary about.
He starts stepping back away from you.
I'm gonna put myself between the Catman and the Walrus Man.
He's like, yeah. And then he steps behind Uther, like grabbing the giant pauldrons of his, and then feeling the metal. He's tapping his finger on the metal before he pulls his hands away and then steps behind Mesmogdu.
He's hiding behind me.
He goes,
However, I am concerned. We cannot bring those men with us, but will they be safe here?
No, they were part of my guard. The creature took them out swiftly after acquiring the constructs.
So now we know where we must go. Thank you very much. Which direction? Point us and we will free this place of this rust-infesting monster, free your men, and free the constructs, and take you back to Mitzelberg.
Yes, freedom and salvation. And he points in the direction you guys came from. Freedom and salvation, yes, that away. Please, let us
Nora.
proceed.
Which way did Nora go?
No, in the other way of freedom of salvation.
Which is not where we will be going at present.
Dang it. He sort of walks away from Mesmogdu, grabs the tree he slid down, and just, scrunches up his face and points, further into the forest. We had come from that way when we were attacked. And starts climbing the tree.
Well, very good. That's a good vantage point for you to watch over your men as we clear this evil from the forest. Uther Ironbeard does not go back on his word. There is a quest for us to accomplish.
Unless, of course, there can be dancing to be had, and I'll head off.
I have a
Don't
feeling he
dance with
disapproved of
those
that action.
creatures! What?
I have a feeling he disapproved of that action.
Yeah, definitely does. He's like, don't dance with those creatures!
They dance divinely, and they even pointed us in the right direction.
It would have been rude to refuse them.
And he just continues climbing up.
Do you think Keaton's a terrible dancer, and that's why he wouldn't dance? Maybe
He
it's
does
all
have
those
4
legs, all those feet get in his way.
Tripping over himself.
And then peeking
Well, if you
behind.
guys want to really make the joke, I do have 2 left feet.
Dang it! You took it away from me. All right. So yeah,
That is probably the problem.
the walrus, the walrus guy, One-Bin is up in the tree once again. All of his men are still decorated on the floor. You know, just as crazy as they were when you arrived. Probably a little less worse for wear physically after being attended to by Octavia, but they're still mentally gone.
With that, we'll move on and head deeper into the forest, looking for this beast that creates rust and steals constructs.
All right, it's you go along that same direction, following the trail of the wagon wheels until you start seeing bits of wagon, like a broken up arch that must have been part of a wheel, a snapped off handle, a shattered chest with a shattered chest that must have held gold at one point, but no longer does.
Well, there goes the chance of us using the cart or the wagon to get these people to safety.
Mesmeldune, Olivia, and Ketone, I'm starting to have misgivings about this neighborhood.
Starting?
Yes, look at all this wreckage.
Were they coming back then? If their wagon's ahead of where they were,
The wagons are ahead of where they were, and when you eventually see enough of a remnant wagon, it's pointed in the direction you're heading towards.
so they abandoned it and were heading back.
Perhaps I should invest in paving some roads through here, and this would be less of an issue.
Could be a lucrative business venture.
Yeah, if it wasn't for all of the crazy monsters and no sunlight.
Lanterns in the trees would be quite lovely.
We've only really seen one group of monsters so far, and a group of dancers.
Depending on your point of view, we could be a group of monsters.
With that, I look for Mesmeldune and Ketone and back again.
See.
Perhaps you're correct.
As the sound effect plays when you look at Keaton, dun dun dun.
I've got everything in Dropbox.
But yeah, you're going along this path and seeing the remnant wagons, and as you go on, there's just all this dust covering the area, and it looks like the metal lashings of the chest, the metal bandings of wagon wheels, the metal screws and nails have just been completely obliterated into just this fine orangey dust.
More rust.
This is quite disturbing. This is starting to turn into a horror story.
I certainly don't like this at all.
And as you say, horror story. There's movement in the distance under some some cloth. You know, it looks like it might have been the canopy of one of these wagons. And
I'll draw my sword and use it to flick away the cloth in one quick flourish.
you just see the top half of a mechanical construct. Much of it has been rusted away. It's got rust holes everywhere, exposing a lot of the gears and the clockwork devices.
I quickly turn and try and use my body and my shield to obscure the view from Olivia. And I'm like, you don't want to see this, lass. You don't want to look at this. Turn away.
So
Please step aside. I am a doctor, sort of.
it's a construct, not a caretaker.
It's a construct. It looks like it's built in a facsimile of a caretaker, but it has far too many convoluted gears and pipes and wires to actually be a caretaker.
So, is this Nora? Do we know?
It's crawling, just going. "Ow!"
Hold tight. You are going to need some replacement parts, and you are definitely going to need some work, but I think we may be able to get you out of here.
It just says, "Oh, jeez."
I mean, I could probably.
You have a name?
Ow!
I draw the SOS out of my chest piece.
Oh, jeez. And it just keeps repeating that.
Yeah, that looks pretty painful.
Okay. So, if we deactivate the construct, will it be able to be reactivated later in a place where it is not in terrible pain?
You could figure that out if you have the thermonuclear whatchamacallit skill.
I think that might be a racial. Hold on. Let me check. Back to you guys while I'm looking.
Yeah, I don't even have that skill written down on the character sheet. So.
Yeah, it's kind of a special skill. Only a few get.
Only if we had the game designer here to ask.
Let me pull up caretakers. Let's see. No, those are dwarves. I just went
I'm
right
almost
past them.
there.
Changeling,
Here we go.
Yeah, you do. You have thermonuclear whatchamacallit.
Yes, it's just the tinkered ones, isn't it?
Yeah, only the tinkered.
Okay, yes, and I happen to be a tinkered construct, so what do I roll for this?
Just roll a d20 and you add your proficiency and intelligence bonus.
Oh, that's a good roll.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 20 total.
So you effectively analyze this thing's construction to the point where it's almost like a single-celled organism if you were to compare organic, like a human against anything else organic. It is rudimentary in its operation. So if you were to turn it off, turn it on, as long as the gears still turn, it'll work the same way.
Okay, good. Well, then I am going to deactivate this construct so that we can move it and then get it repaired and it won't be like hurting the entire time.
Yeah, that's probably just a switch on the back that says off.
If you want there to be, then yeah.
Megan's doing it. It's up to her how she does it.
Flip.
Oh.
There. Now it's not saying ouchie anymore. So look around. Do we see its legs anywhere?
You wouldn't find its legs anywhere.
Is there a lump of powder somewhere near that looks kind of
Like sheep.
Yeah, there's all the powder covering the place is a fairly fine sort of dusting. You gonna ask something?
Nah,
Alright.
I'm going to say we should just continue onward and find the source of this problem.
So we have to pick up the walrus guy, one bid, all the insane people, and half a construct. And we haven't even gotten to our mission yet.
Don't worry
Right, I
about
would
that.
assume that he would have given us a description of what the construct looked like, and we'd know if this was it or not.
Yeah, especially now that you analyzed this construct, there's no way this thing could be self-aware.
hmm
It's with that 20, you figured its responses were less of it feeling pain and more of just, okay, this is supposed to hurt.
As far as Octavia is concerned, that counts, but we will continue onward.
So you continue onward past this covering of dust and wagons, and you're following this trail. There's no longer any wagon wheels, but there's these large, heavy footprints and a bit of this orange rust dust scattered about, also in the path of these footprints. Again, the woods they grow really, really silent. So proceeding on, assuming everyone is huddled around Mesmogdu, being that he's the one supplying the light in this darkness. You guys can start hearing voices calling out in the distance.
What language is it speaking?
Common. They're actually speaking common. One sounds like a female voice going, "Oh God, no!"
I'm gonna guess that's Nora.
And the sound of crushing metal,
I don't like that.
but you can't see where it's coming from because it's coming from beyond the light.
Is there a light source up ahead?
No.
Not like the sounds of that crunching metal. Kind of hurts my soul a little bit.
Well, we should hurry ahead and see if there's somebody that needs help. It could be Nora, or just some other hapless traveler.
I concur.
I'll scurry ahead.
I move pretty quick, but I mean, if we need the light source to see, anywhere we go, we're gonna be a target.
I'm not afraid of that. The Ironbeards have a long history of heroism.
I was saying, like, if I carried the goblin.
Oh, that's a good idea. Why don't you ride the ketone?
No, I am no common mule or horse.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll use my freezing misty teleport to teleport 60 feet ahead, and I'll be like, "Are you guys coming or what?"
Oh dear.
Oh, that little guy's pretty quick. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, there's just a puff of cold mist, and then I'm 60 feet ahead, and I'm like, "Come on!"
Speed walking to catch up.
So he
I waddle
disappears
after
in a
him.
puff of mist, and then there's just this glowing as he reappears, light 60 feet away. The light goes another 40 feet before that, and just about 35 feet away from you, Mesmogdu, you see a bunch of constructs pinned under large rocks, and you get a flash of this large figure. Like, this thing is as big as the Tausamat you saw earlier, except that he doesn't look all soft and blubbery. His skin is a very dark, pale purple, covered in spines, and you see 4 red orbs before it jumps up. onto a tree and scurries into the darkness. And you all catch a glimpse of that.
How high did it jump?
Crud.
It jumped almost the entire distance of this light aura from the light rod. And from what you saw, this is what it looked like.
Oh, that's one ugly son of a gun.
He could be in trouble too, though. You never know. Could be cursed.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume that's bad guy. So there's constructs underneath the rocks, huh?
Yeah, and a lot of them are like, and then there's one crushed under a rock going, "Oh God, help us, please!"
How big are the rocks?
They're like boulders.
Oh,
They're,
so I
they're
take it too
heavy
big to
enough-
move.
Yeah, they're heavy enough. You can try moving them if you want. If you want to run up and try moving them.
Yes.
I'll
Can
try.
I use a lever to make it a little easier?
You go to one of the boulders and you start moving it, and it feels fairly easy for you because your awesome power's 3.
Yes.
So you're an exceptionally awesome individual. But as you're moving it, there's a purple stream of color as this thing falls from above head and lands right behind you. As it growls at you.
Oh, I don't think it likes you playing with its stuff.
Might I get some assistance over here?
I'm
Coming.
already moving in.
So this is essentially you guys moving into combat and getting the first round.
Okay, so we get to go first.
Mm-hmm.
All right, who wants to lead it off? I will. If
I'm
nobody else
continuing to
does.
move boulders, so this is all you guys.
I'm gonna try to persuade the creature to let us help these poor unfortunate constructs.
All right, I go with an 18.
It's gonna be better than me, probably. I got a 15.
I have a 7.
All right. How far away is it?
Well,
You said
we'll
we-
assume you guys started moving up when
Maybe.
Octavia moved up.
Yes,
So-
absolutely.
Yeah, it'll definitely be within charging distance if you want.
So I'm definitely doing that. So coming in with a flurry of sword slashes. So does a 15 hit? Actually, let's see. I have inspiration, so I want to re-roll that 15, but the other one's a 19, which I'll keep. And that is not any better. So 15 is my low.
Yeah, you completely whiff.
Okay.
Like-
Would it both attacks a 19 too?
The 19?
Yeah.
Yeah. 19 misses.
Ugh. This bugger. So is it that I miss, like it moves out of the way, or its chin is that hard?
It just dodges out of the way. It's almost like it knows your blow is coming just before it hits it.
Stand still, you bug-eyed freak.
Again, it just responds.
So I call out to the rest of the crew. This guy is pretty fast.
All right, so my first attack with my offhand weapon is a natural 20.
Up, well, you you crit it. So that's you. Your attack does max plus a roll, and you only apply your ability modifier once.
Oh, max plus a roll. I mean,
Yeah.
All right, so that's 22. So that's 26
26 total.
for that attack.
Which weapon was this? Was this the
That was
stone fist
That
or
was
the?
the stone fist.
All right.
And
Well
then,
done, Ketone. You deserve extra catnip for that one.
And then my sword kind of rises like a snake and whips out 3 times. That's AC 19, 22, and 16. So I know the 16 and 19 miss. What about the 22?
The 22 is a definite hit.
For a whopping 5 points of damage.
5. As your whip sword strikes the creature and it cuts into its skin, when you're retrieving it backwards, you're noticing that it's starting to rust and bits of it are flaking off. Your weapon is damaged, which means you reduce the die size of damage it deals by 1. So from a D6, it drops to a D4.
Can that be fixed?
It could be repaired, but not during combat.
So if I sheathed this thing and used the stone fist in 2 hands, I can do that, right?
Yeah.
Is that the stone fist doesn't seem to be bothered by this thing?
The stone fist is made from magical stone, so it's unfazed.
Okay.
It's still as stony and fisty as ever.
Awesome. All right. So I will do that.
Well done, Ketone. Keep fisting the monster.
This is a family show, Uther.
And then right from like the ground starts rising this 2-dimensional plane with parental warning going across it. So who's going next?
Doug.
Really? With the 7?
It's up to you guys. I'm not,
I am moving
Yeah.
boulders.
Okay,
So yes.
I will start distracting this creature with a performance story that will affect his attack rolls and saving throws. So let me do a performance here. That's a 15, which is the performance DC. So enemies of the performer gain a penalty to their attack rolls and saving throws equal to my charisma bonus, which is 2, until the beginning of my next turn.
all right, so he gets a -2.
Yep.
How are you performing, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm just gonna start telling a tale and maybe flourishing it with the occasional kazoo. Just to highlight an exciting part of the story. It's just the story about how big creatures and they're menacing the little people and how they learn a lesson and why they shouldn't do that.
All right, so that's Mezmokdu and his fine kazoo. Leaving. Oh, that only leaves Octavia. Now, you said you're continuing to move the boulder. Are you
Yes.
Are you staying engaged with the creature, or are you gonna toss one boulder off and run away to another pinned subject?
If I can toss the boulder, can I toss it at the creature?
Yeah.
I toss the boulder at the creature.
All right. So roll your attack roll to slam this improvised weapon at the creature. We'll give it a D12 of damage.
Let's
Yeah,
see,
I
is
don't
that
think that
just-
hits.
No.
It scrunches its way downwards, and like flicks the boulder up and away from itself when you try to slam into it. And with that, it's going to, with its other hand, rise up and claw at you.
Oh, good.
It's going to claw at her?
It's going to claw at her.
All right. Well, then I'm going to, yell, this is my fight. And I'll attack him with my bite.
Go for it.
So that's a 23 to hit.
That's a hit.
So that's another 14.
And this is piercing?
Yeah.
All right. So you just chomp into it. And it's like, "Ugh." And when you dig into it, you feel that its flesh it's not chitin, it's skin.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much muscle and sinew that it almost seems to fight your teeth from digging into it.
Okay.
That can't taste good.
Yeah, and it's going to claw at Ooh. Actually, it's gonna bite Octavia. It's gonna go to grab you and just open up its large jaw and bite. And as
Of
it
course.
does, let's see if I could hit you. All right. Oh no, it's a Constitution save. All right, so you have to roll a Constitution save.
Oh, good.
Uh, DC.
19?
Let's see. DC save is 19. So you manage to fight the Constitution save, but it feels like its saliva is starting to bubble away some of the upper layers of your metallic form. And like it's smoking, like it's having a chemical reaction, but you managed to avoid whatever was going to happen.
That is incredibly uncouth. She
Yeah, I mean,
sounds a
come
little
on.
panicked.
Come on, who bites people?
So it's your guys' go.
All right, come on, gents, move to protect Olivia. It's trying to eat her. And so Uther will use. Is there a help action in this game?
Yeah.
I will use the help action and try and distract the creature, and kind of like harry it from its flank, so that Ketone will have a better shot at attacking it with his stone fist. Fist him real good, Ketone.
If you wish, on the character sheet, there's a special action called a gang up action.
Ah, yes.
So it's essentially like a help action plus when it comes to combat.
Attacker takes attack action and attacks with melee attack. They gain advantage plus a heroic tier extra participant's damage.
Yeah, so while Uther is going to be helping Keaton, he'll grant you advantage and allow you to deal an additional 3 points of damage because everyone's heroic tier is 3.
Okay.
And the rest of your allies could just jump in on this or choose not to. It's entirely up to them. Also, I forgot to ask, is your aura on?
Yep.
Octavia?
Yes.
So that means it would have taken a little bit more damage.
All right, so I'm just getting advantage on my attacks?
Yeah, you're just rolling with advantage, and if you
so-
hit, you deal extra damage.
All right, so my stone fist now no longer suffers disadvantage. So still miss on those, but I'll do my bite with advantage. Nothing. Wow. All right, so then my second bite attack will hit. So it's a 25.
All right. How much damage does your bite deal?
All right, so that's 10, 14, so a total of 17.
17. Is that plus the 3 for the gang up?
Yes, sir.
And plus the charisma bonus of Octavia because of her aura.
I don't know, Ketone. I'm not sure you should keep putting these monsters in your mouth. You don't know where they've been.
If I keep using my sword, it will break. So.
All right. So at this point, it being bitten twice by you, and not only that, but struck by you, Keaton, it's going to, for the first time, use a legendary action to claw at you.
Okay.
Oh man, I don't think you should have fisted it. It didn't like that at all.
Oh, I didn't fist it this round. He moved.
So your AC 17 while transformed, correct?
Yes, sir.
So that's 16 on the die. He hits you for 11 points of slashing damage.
All right, so that comes off the temporary.
All right. Now it's up to Octavia and Mesmardu.
I'm going to continue with my scolding tale of how big bullies shouldn't get in over their heads and yada yada yada. And roll my
Do you have any
performance.
tales that'll lower his armor class?
That's well, it lowers his attack rolls and saving throws, but I didn't reach my. Oh, you know what? I'll use my golden coin of inspiration.
If you use a golden coin of inspiration, any performance you want to do will succeed, even its crescendo effect.
Oh, well, then I'll do the crescendo effect, which gives it a penalty to its attack rolls and saving throws equal to my charisma score, which is 15.
Yeah, so only if it crits can it even hit.
Okay. Then I'll do that.
But it doesn't know that, so it'll take its next legendary action to keep clawing at Keaton, which doesn't work at all. Your fine kazoo playing is throwing it off balance a bit, it seems.
It's rethinking its bullying ways. It's like, maybe I shouldn't.
So this leaves Octavia.
Halt, it's hammer time. Okay, so no. Nope.
You have
I
to
think I'm a little bit psyched out about the fact that this thing eats metal, and so I go to swing, and it's like, no, maybe not.
So you have 2 attacks though. That means you can attack twice per action.
Second attempt, 20 total.
Yep, that hits.
Cool. So that is.
We have a target number, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh. That's 4 damage.
4. You're
Is
still.
that,
I'm
is
assuming
that
you're
counting
attacking.
your aura and your strength?
Oh.
Oh.
No, that is counting my strength, but I don't know if I benefit from my own aura.
Yes, you do. You are your own ally.
Well, that's 5 damage.
So you attack this thing. You punch it with your stone fist, and it's going to use its final legendary action to sort of spin around to slash at you with its other claw. But while
Clarification.
drawing,
Has this monster now been double fisted?
the small little bar kind of like grows into a large, wide rectangle to completely cover the view of Uther. And it just says O, raises up M, raises up G. And then it has like a drawing of the Benjamin Brownie in the lower left-hand corner.
All right, so I will use my reaction again to proclaim again. This is my fight and miss wildly.
All right, so it's going to attack Octavia and probably miss, which it does. And Octavia, you notice that your hammer hand,
Mm-hmm.
all the knuckles are starting to rust away.
Yep.
And that's its legendary action. Now this thing goes. How far are you, Mesmogdu, from this?
I'm probably not too far. I figured. I mean, maybe within 30 feet of it.
Oh, that's beautiful. So this is the dimly lit area. All right. So it just roars out. As you see its spikes starting to sort of elongate. But as it does, it bleeds away into shadow. And from the shadowy distance beyond the light, it does something. Would everyone like to roll me dexterity saves?
Not really.
Oh. Easily my worst. Oh no. Oh no.
Nat 20!
You could use your golden coin of inspiration.
That I can.
I also nat 20 to Doug.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
as a
do I
show
just
off.
re-roll that then if I
Yeah.
use the inspiration coin?
Yes, you just re-roll it.
That's much better, but it's still only 15 because I have negative dexterity.
Me too.
Okay.
I actually have accident prone, but 20's a 20.
Yeah, so whoever didn't whoever didn't crit it or get at least a 20, you're gonna get hurt.
Oh, good.
So let me just change the recharge.
I laugh at pain. I eat it like candy.
It fires its spines, and whoever failed takes 45 points of piercing damage.
Oh.
Ow!
They're riddled with large spines the size of short swords. Those that manage dodge away and only take half that damage.
So 45, that's 22.
Unless you're a barbarian who's in a rage and can use the war paint feature.
So what does the war paint do for me again?
The first time you're damaged by an attack around, you can choose to. I thought you were doing that. The first time you were attacked in a round, you
Okay.
negate damage to 0.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, then I'll negate that.
Yeah, try to remember that.
My nervous twitching actually allowed me to dodge right out of the way.
He accidentally, crazily dodged out of the way. Every time he twitched, a little punctuation of the kazoo preceded it.
I'm pretty frosty for an old guy.
And that's this thing's turn, but it's now somewhere in the darkness.
All right, so we just basically got pelted with the spines, right?
Yeah. Now there's like spines littering the area. And like I said, they're all about the size of short swords.
Do you think this guy's chances of being susceptible to his own spines?
I don't know. It's worth trying.
It's better than resting your weapons. I mean, they're still sharp.
I do have this quiver of javelins on my back.
So can I make a perception check to see if I can see him?
See him? You can make a perception check, but you'll probably like hear and or smell.
So that is 18.
You can tell where he's at. I mean, he's shrouded in darkness, but you hear like the and this sort of this weird smell of like,
can I see him with dark vision?
Not while you're in this light. Actually, yeah, you're in the dim light, right?
I think so.
Yeah. The dim light. If you change your dark vision, your dim light stays dim light, and darkness becomes bright light, and bright light essentially changes into darkness.
All right. So can I charge?
Yes. And using your dark vision, Uther, you know where he's at as well.
All right. Well, I will proceed to follow Ketone as well, continuing to use the gang up action.
So I'm gonna, grab a what do you call it? Grab one of the spines en route. Is that cool?
Yeah, sure.
So, oh, you're giving me advantage, right, Dave?
I am.
Yes.
Can I change out this D20 on this app?
Put it in timeout.
Like I said, if you guys want, you could roll real die.
All right, so my bite's completely missed, and my attack with the spine, I got a crit.
Oh God. We'll do a D6 of damage. Like I said, it's like a short sword.
All right. So there's nothing special. I get the max plus a roll. Is that what you said?
Yeah, max plus a roll plus your
So
ability modifier.
That's 15.
So 15 plus 1 for the aura of damage that your fine Ferris friend is applying for you guys. So 16 total?
Yeah. All right. And then my last attack, so that's going to be a 23.
That's definitely a hit.
So that's a 6, 10, and 12, 13, another 14.
All right. And as you're stabbing at it and hitting it, you're noticing that these your attacks don't seem to be seeping in as far as you would expect them to. Pretty much, yeah. Go ahead.
I had noticed that with the bites. The piercing,
Yeah.
piercing does not seem to do as well.
So it's like, and it'll take its legendary action, and start growing its spines back.
Okay.
Like it raises its giant arms up, just flexes like you would normally see a pro wrestler flex, right? And all the spines on its arms, its shoulders, its back, they'll rapidly sprout back out. Octavia, Mesmokdu.
I'm going to use my Marahone staff to cast Magic Missile at the thing.
Okay, so you quite literally attack the darkness.
Well, could I see it from where Ketone was attacking it?
No, there's no light. They didn't bring light with them. Ketone is attacking by smell and hearing, and yeah.
I'll move. I have blind sight up to 10 feet. Can I move over to near where Ketone is and be able to see it with blind sight?
Yeah, well,
if you move closer, you bring the light to us. So
yeah.
Well, I'll do that then. But I also have blind sight too. So if it was totally concealed, I could see it.
Yeah.
Or do you not want me to bring the light to you?
No, absolutely, bring the light.
Oh, yeah. Then I'll do that.
Bring the light, bring the pain.
So yeah, I'll move over towards that, and then I'll cast Magic Missile from there.
All right, so just tell me what damage it deals.
All right.
Wow, that's a lot of D4s.
26.
26 points of damage.
Yeah.
And it's like it grunts a lot heavier from your hits. From this flurry of magic missiles it's hit by. Obviously reacting more to these hits than any other it's received so far.
All right, and then the remainder of my move, I will hide behind Uther and Ketone.
Well done, Melmazdoon.
Oh, you get right up in there? All right.
Well, yeah, sure.
It raises its arm as you get that close.
Say, back! Get back! Leave us alone.
And Octavia!
I will be utilizing a greater healing potion. May I flavor it like an oil can?
No problem.
Cool. Oh, that's the wrong way.
Did you spend your coin of inspiration yet?
Yes.
Yeah, as you're oiling yourself, it's like bling, and then a coin comes out of the oil can. You get
Awesome.
another golden coin of inspiration for that. So is that all? That's all you do, right?
Yeah, that's my action.
All right. So this thing is now like shielding its eyes, and it's like oh god, it's going to try to reach over Uther and grab Mesmokdu. So going around Uther it's leaving the threatening range of Keaton to go around Uther. So you can take your opportunity attack if you'd like. Keaton.
Okay.
Keaton, he turned his back on you. Give him the fist.
All right, in two hands, I will roll my attack with a hammer, but do I still have an advantage because of Dave?
Yeah. The player
firing.
round hasn't been. Oh,
I'm firing.
so right before it goes to grab, right before it grabs Mesmokdu, the entire screen it wipes completely black. A light turns on, and there's a small room, and you see Benjamin Brownie, curiously halfway balding and with like a little goatee, as he's standing there with a marker in front of a whiteboard, and it says 7 words you can't ever say on TV, and he's writing the number 8, and he begins writing a F-I-S. Yeah, it bleeds away, and the creature goes to attack Mesmokdu. This would be an opposed athletics check for the grappling, but its awesome power is higher than yours, so it automatically succeeds. he grabs you with one hand and still with the other hand kind of shielding his face, throws you away. So he throws Besmognu 30 feet away.
No, he's gonna break his hip.
Yeah,
Classic.
Besmognu, you take 30 points of impact damage when you land roughly. From
I
being
am whatever the equivalent of unconscious is.
You reach 0.
I'm at -7.
No. You don't.
Oh, it's just 0.
Yeah, you don't ever go into the negatives. You only reach 0.
Okay.
Once you enter, 0 hit points, you gain the effect of being down, right? Which means you can't take actions or bonus actions or reactions. You can still move around, but you can't take part of the fight. So you can't perform your performances and whatnot. And go ahead.
I have a background feature that allows him to add my awesome power to his roll to get back in the fight.
Yeah, I was getting back next. At the beginning of your round, you roll to get back in the fight. If you roll a 10 or higher, you get back in the fight. But your friendly neighborhood nanny has a feature that gives you a bonus to that.
Okay. Cool.
So that's what the creature does, and that's all it manages to do. So it's your guys' go.
I'm kind of disappointed with helping Ketone, and I'm just going to attack it now.
Okay.
So a 13 and a 15 is not it.
Good God, no.
A flurry of sword blows all around the creature, but none landing.
It's gonna attack you back with its legendary action.
All right, so I miss with the hammer, and I get a natural 20 on my bite. So does that max plus dice?
Max plus dice.
So that's 18, 20, 27, 31, and then we get 1 point from Octavia.
Yes.
So 32 piercing.
Wow, that hurts. It is it's effectively beat up right now. With your attack, Dave. He'll hit you with its attack with its claw. You take 11 points of damage, but as your armor is clawed, your choice, your armor or your shield. As you get hit with that, your armor takes damage, begins to rust away, and you lower the AC it provides by 1 point.
I'll make it the armor. So he just like rakes down my my chest and or down my side. Well, it starts at the chest and goes to the side, and you can just see my white boxer shorts with hearts on them poking out.
And it's going to take its second legendary action when Keaton is done. Are you done? Is that all your attacks?
Well, he attacked Dave as a legendary action, so I'm going to use my reaction to attack him.
Okay.
So that's a 26
That'll hit him.
for a massive 7 points of damage from the fist.
And at the end of your turn is finished, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to use his second legendary action to you know what? Instead of clawing at you, right? He goes, "Argh!" And then he starts flexing. And as he flexes his muscles, you can't see it because you're in darkness, Keaton. You're attacking him because he's just obviously there, right? But being that you have dark vision, Uther, you see him rippling his muscles, like all the tendons and sinews dancing like little highways across his form. And all the stabby marks and the slashy marks, all of those begin to shrink and be forced shut as he uses his healing factor.
That wasn't very nice of him.
And he's no longer beat up.
Oh, that wasn't good.
So Octavia and Mesmogdu,
Okay, so I would like to open my chest carapace and pull out a dart gun, load a healing potion into it, and shoot Mesmog. It's 10 hit points.
Nice. Thank you.
So you get shot with a dart, and then the injection just goes.
That
And
feels
how many hit points does he heal for? What healing
It's
potion?
a greater healing potion, so 10.
So Mesmogdu, you're at 10 hit points. You're no longer down, and you can act normally.
All right, I am going to spin a different tale, and this one is
You sure you can't do another one of those magic missiles?
no,
Word.
it's from the item, and it used all its charges.
No, it doesn't have charges.
Yeah, it's got 5 mana, and you have to spend all 5 to do that.
No. For the magic missile?
Yeah.
All right. I'll double check in a second.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, your
Oh,
mana.
that's to make it a crit hit.
Yeah, like when you hit, it changes it into a crit hit.
Oh, but you can cast magic missile all day long.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I'll totally do that again.
The spells that it gives you, you can just cast them as an action.
Oh, well then, yeah, I'm gonna do that. 6,
28.
31.
It's beat up again.
Ah, take that, foul villain.
And then I'm going to duck behind a rock or something, just kind of peek out. I'll shoot him, and then scurry back and just kind of creep and hide behind something in case he shoots his spines or whatever. And
Yeah.
also thank Octavia.
I've been forgetting to do something. Yeah, we'll keep forgetting it. It doesn't benefit you guys at all if I remember to do it. So let's keep forgetting it. But it's going to take its final legendary action to the hell with it. Claw at Keaton.
The what?
Claw at Keaton.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll hit Keaton. It won't damage any armor because he's not wearing any, but you will take 11 points of slashing damage.
And I'll use my free action this round to just not take damage.
Yeah. trying to kill you with this guy is going to be ridiculous. But it's now his turn.
Oh, that
Right.
wasn't.
That was his
Oh,
last legendary action.
Yep. Go for it.
All right, cool. So he doesn't like you guys. He's gonna just he's going to grab Uther.
Oh no.
Right? And his awesome power is much higher than Uther's, so Uther can't resist. And Keaton, he'll run away from you and climb up a nearby tree.
Okay.
All right. That's all he manages to. Actually, no, that's not all he manages to do. He'll grab Uther, climb up a tree, and Uther, he'll start smashing you on the tree while he's doing so.
How high up the tree is he?
You have to do another perception because you can't actually see.
Oh, that well, from the shaking of the tree, from Uther clambering into it, I imagine that's not something that is able to easily be hidden.
His general location is we'll say about a dozen feet up.
All right, so I have an 18 strength in my current form and advantage on jump checks. Do
Okay.
I actually need to make a check, or can I jump that kind of distance?
All right. Let me just tell Uther how much damage he gets from being manhandled.
Absolutely, go for it.
Uther, you take 17 points of impact damage.
Okay. So I'm really, really hurt. attacking him isn't done very much for me, and I start hollering out, "Dwarves are supposed to stay on the ground." So, can I try and cleave through the tree where he's holding on?
These are giant trees.
What about just cutting away what he's holding on to instead of attacking him?
He's holding on to you. He's holding on to your armor.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. If you want, you could just cut the lashing free and fall.
Cut on the armor?
Yeah.
No, I want to attack the tree that he's holding on to stay in the tree.
Oh, you want to damage the tree? All right.
Yeah. I want to try and see if I can't make him fall from the tree.
If this tree starts hitting us, I'm going to be so mad.
If this wasn't a one shot, maybe, but we won't go there. But yeah, go ahead, attack the tree. Well, just roll your damage for attacking the tree, and if you get a total of 50 or more with all your attacks,
okay,
you literally chop that area of the tree off.
Yeah, I don't think I can do 50 or more, but let's see. So, so 37 is what I do to the tree.
And that's if you calculate hitting it twice for your two attacks.
Yeah.
Warriors can always action surge if you want.
Oh, that's right. I forgot I even had that. I will absolutely do that.
So you did 33, you said?
37?
Oh, 37. All right, cool.
And then, all right, so. There. 45.
That's more than enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 50, 58, 65, 71 to the tree.
Yeah, so hacking away a huge chunk of this tree because this creature is large with gigantic hands. It's still holding on to the tree, but the tree is no longer part of the tree. That part of the tree is no longer part of the tree. So it starts tumbling down, and the both of you hit the ground roughly and take 5 points of impact damage apiece.
Oh, what do you know? I'm still up.
And I don't actually have to make a jump check to go smack.
Yeah, and both of you are prone, both the creature and Uther. You fall prone, and as its legendary action, it sort of like spins around angrily to claw at you, Uther. You're both prone, so it doesn't get advantage. Your AC is -1 already.
Yeah, so I think that's 21.
Yeah, it'll miss.
All right, so I'm assuming that they did not fall at my feet. So
Yeah,
I will move over towards the loud impact zone. Miss on my first attack with the hammer, but will clearly hit with my second.
Mm-hmm.
Dear Lord. So that's another 7 points of damage. From that, I hit with my bite. That's 10. And another 15 from my bite.
All right, so you're like hacking into it and smashing it and gnawing at the creature, and it'll just like try to spin around and raise an elbow to smash you away.
Okay.
But being that it's prone, it gets disadvantage. Well, 14 and a 16.
That'll still do it.
Yeah, you'll still do it. Your AC is only 17 right now.
Yep.
So you'll take 11 more points of you'll take 11, but it'll be bludgeoning damage this time, as he shoves an elbow, into your side.
Now, do I have to use it for the very first time that I get hit?
The very first time. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll just take that off.
That leaves Octavia. And
I'm gonna shoot Uther with the healing dart.
So Uther, you heal for it was a greater?
Yep. 10.
11? Oh, 10?
Thanks, lass.
And Mesmagdu.
I guess I'll point my Marahone staff and say, "Get off my friends!" and shoot another magic missile at it. This
Okay.
foul creature. So that's 24.
Damn. Wait, hold on. My brain just shut down for a second. Yeah, this thing looks like really beaten and bruised and battered. For those of, well, I guess those of you that can see it, assuming that you moved back up instead of attacking the darkness. Now that it's back in light, at least in the dim light, its purple skin is getting all discolored with bruising.
After I moved up, can I use my freezing mist to get further away?
It's an action.
Oh, okay. So I'll
Alright,
just
Freezing mist is an action.
cower in fear.
So if something purples when it bruises, what happens to the skin that's naturally purple? What color does the bruising become?
A deep orange,
Deep orange. Okay.
like a tangerine. It becomes tangerine. So yeah, it's all bruising and stuff. It's starting to like look around. For a beast, it's obviously starting to show signs of anger and panic, a mixture of those two emotions.
I'm
so
also
you guys-
showing signs of panic.
So
You can always-
you guys.
You can always surrender, lad.
I've still got like 90 some hit points. What are you guys worried about?
All right. Oh, this could go so bad. I'm not gonna do it though. Okay. So it's prone on the floor, and then you see it sort of. It looks like it almost appears as if it's sinking into the ground before you notice that it's just bleeding away into black smoke. And it appears 10 feet away, midway through flexing, and it fires all of its spines again.
Oh, good.
So that's another dexterity save for the group. As these short sword-sized spines start flying at you, and you require a 20 to succeed.
Did
I'm
not
gonna
do
use
that.
my inspiration coin and re-roll that. No. Nope.
I'll try that. I'll use my coin as well. Did not have an effect. I have a 12.
So yeah, all that failed take 45 damage.
I'm
Is that
down.
piercing?
Piercing.
All
Down.
right, so 45. That becomes 22.
The healing potions are in my chest piece.
All right, so I've gotten through almost all of my temporary hit points.
Oh, I was trying not to use the thing I forgot, but this Keaton character, he's a tough one, huh? Oh, he's a tough guy, isn't he? So he does that, and then continues the rest of his movement, bleeding away into shadow, back into the darkness, beyond the light of the light rod.
So we can't see him. We don't know where he's at.
You can't currently see him, and he's not making loud slamming, beating up dwarfs noises.
So second win, basically that just brings me back up to half.
Yeah, it just brings you back up to half. No need to roll.
Okay. So I hop up and say, hey, come back here. I'm not done with you yet. And I start trudging off into the darkness. Which way did he go?
You can see it. You have your dark vision. It's not a big deal for you. You see him and you can just charge him.
Okay, so I guess that's what I'm gonna do. A 1 and a 17.
All right, we'll say the 17. The 17 is plus your bonus.
17 is a 24.
Yeah, will be enough to hit. You're using your massive sword.
And that's going to be 15, 18, 22 points of damage.
22.
22.
So we'll say with the 1, like your massive sword strikes him, and as it starts to dig into his flesh, while you're drawing the blade through, it's beginning to rust. So you reduce the die of damage to the next lowest type, which would be 2d12.
Okay.
And with the 1, we'll say your sword begins to chip away as well, reducing the die of damage another step.
Ooh, brutal. Oh, you're going to pay for that, laddie.
To a single d12. So your massive sword does 1d12 damage now.
All right.
And as you do that and you say that, he like you're dragging your flesh, and he just flexes on you and uses his healing factor to regain some hit points. As his legendary action.
All right, so I charge in. So going in with the hammer first. I have one crit, one miss. So that's 21, 25, 26 points of damage from the first attack. Come in with my bite, and I miss.
All right, so you see, like, illuminated in the distance, the brownie sitting down on a wheeled armchair, but instead of dirt on the floor, it seems to be a nicely tiled floor just in his vicinity. And he has a copy of the rules, and he's scratching his head with a thought bubble. Says, how does he keep seeing this guy?
How does he what?
Keep seeing.
Oh.
With a really rudimentary drawing of a cat. And cat plus gator equals question mark. Yeah, but that leaves Octavia and Mesmogdu.
Okay,
So you got to roll some kind of recovery thing. Is it what it is?
This is a
If
straight
you're down, straight D20 roll, but you get a +3 because of your feature.
Still doesn't work. Not for me.
So you mark down 1 of 3 failures, and then you're still down. Mesmogdu,
Okay.
however, I don't know. He's a pretty tough old guy. He's a pretty tough old guy.
Yeah, I got a 17. So that means I'm up. I just can't do anything right now.
You know it's at the beginning of your round, which means you can act for the rest of your round. However, you gain your beat up threshold worth of hit points and 1 level of haggard, which I think you only have 1 because you're an old fart. That's the only time you're ever going to get up on your own volition.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I can do stuff?
Yes.
But I can't see him because he's in the dark.
But you did notice your allies, what direction they ran.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
Uther's
wanna get
not very
too-
quiet.
I don't want to get too close, so I'm gonna tell a tale of what is love if not madness, and what is attacking this creature continuously if not madness as well. So I will roll my performance, which is 20, which succeeds, and he will take 3d4 psychic damage,
Jeez.
which is 8.
All right. You don't see what happens, but please describe how you psychically defeat this guy and what your dwarf manages to see with your performance.
I just tell a moving tale of tragedy and love that I learned in my many years, and this mindless beast just touches something in his beastly soul that even he can understand, and it just moves him so greatly that his terrible heart bursts, and he just seizes up with fear and pain and loss, and just curls up, and that's the end of it.
So this
That's
is
the end of
what
the-
this is the part you don't see because you can't see, and that's where he kind of like plants down his arms and almost goes into like all fours position, but his feet kind of like come off the ground and shake, and his heart begins beating out of his chest, and then then his eyes shoot out of his head like moing, and it's as if he's seeing Olivia for the first time, down and wounded, and all the hearts like start appearing around him. And he realizes that he's in love with her, and it breaks his heart, and that's what causes the psychic damage.
So you guys have managed to defeat the creature.
Barely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys defeat the creature, and with the awesome power of your nanny bot, she's able to remove these boulders fairly easily. Actually, like it takes all three of you struggling together to move one, and that's to roll it off. And she kind of just like picks them up and puts them down.
Well, I have a question about that. I have
Yeah.
abilities that lower the awesome power required to do things, and I have an awesome power of 1.
Of weapon wielding.
Okay, so
Weapon
boulders, weapons,
I used a boulder as a weapon.
Yeah. But yeah, you managed to save all these damaged constructs. The one that was like, "Oh God, no!" It says, she introduces herself as, after saying thank you, you saved us. You saved us from a horrid fate. You notice that her leg is sort of just crunched, like you would see tin soda cans in a recycle bin. Her leg is crushed, and various other bits of the other constructs that are like, ow, ow, ow.
Gonna turn them off.
Yeah. You retrieve the constructs, you retrieve them. I guess, Octavia's strong enough to load them in whatever's left of a wagon, and drag the whole thing. Retrieving the Tau Samat, all of the surviving injured people, running into, again, a bunch of those little floating eyes that run away from you.
Did we find any of the gold that was in the chest?
No. If you look for the gold, Nora will tell you that it ate that first.
I bet it's delicious. That would make sense.
And then when you reunite Nora with the Rust Father, Simon G. Sprocket, he is so overjoyed that he embraces Nora as if she were his daughter, rather than his creation.
So the purple walrus guy, is he offended that the Rust Father was far more interested in Nora than himself?
Yeah, as like the camera pans up to like the setting sun and this beautiful scene, you hear like a scratching of a record, and you see him like in the equivalent of the Better Business Bureau in Mitzelberg filing out a complaint. And that's today's game.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, Nelson.
So I don't know. I should have used the thing I forgot just for Ted because he's too strong. He's too tough. I forgot to do damage from his spines when you were attacking him.
Ah.
But yeah, that's been the Rust Father. I'm sorry if you guys might have felt it was a little bit too tough for certain characters. Everything in there was designed before I knew what you were playing. And it was actually, I don't know if Dave and Dead figured it out, but it was pretty much the SMTT inspired version of a game I actually played with Ted that he ran, the Rust Monster Troll.
Yep.
Yeah. I was definitely feeling that vibe. The Rust Monster Troll mixed in with a little Eder cap. That was awesome. Very, very much appreciate it. Guys, if you're watching the game, or thank you for watching the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Saturday morning, Tabletop RPG. You can pick it up over on RPG Drive-Thru. There's a pay what you want version, so you can take it for a test drive before buying the full game. It's a lot of fun. It's D&D 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, kind of on steroids with zaniness. And I can't guarantee all your games will be as fun as Nelson's, but I've played in 2 of his games so far with it, and it's been a blast each and every time. I love the lightheartedness of it. I love the the very whimsical. If you want to play kind of a Alice in Wonderland type game, this is perfect.
Yeah. Also, if you pick up the actual core rules, not the beginner game, at the end of the core rules, there is an evildoer creation toolkit, which makes it really easy for you to just like create bad guys on the fly, or potentially just create them ahead of the game to get some sort of inspiration for stuff. So you don't need to get any expanded bestiary. You could take your D&D bestiary and take inspiration from there and just give all the abilities to a SMTT thing.
Yep.
Nice. It was a lot of fun. We'll have to do it again sometime. Very much
Absolutely.
appreciate you spending the afternoon with us. So with that, guys, until next time, stay nerdy.
Nerdy.
Stay nerdy.
Peace.